Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, today I rise to speak about another horrific, violent murder of a young black man. Tyre Nichols should be home with his family. Instead, his family are grieving because 5 men abused their power within the system and brutally beat him to death. 5 men dragged Tyre from his vehicle after a routine traffic stop and assaulted him while wearing body cameras. Despite their every action being recorded, those men chose violence. They chose murder. They chose to create more trauma, more heartbreak, more anger for a country already scarred by the murders of far too many black men and women at the hands of law enforcement, whether those officers be black or white. The very people sworn to protect use their position for violence. The consequences of their actions will linger, insidious and ever-present, long after the harrowing video of what they did has faded into our national memory. Members, I'm tired. I'm tired of America treating black trauma like a bad car accident, slowing down to watch for the moment, only to speed up and move on with life as if nothing happened. I'm tired of people saying, Black Lives Matter, and then a month later, things have returned to the status quo. President Biden has called on Congress to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act so that he can sign it into law. I also call on them to pass this necessary national reform as well. We need change. We need accountability and reform and a culture shift where we won't let this type of thing continue. We need to acknowledge what has led us to this moment, this system, then change every law, statute, and policy that upholds and reinforces systemic racism. Even though I'm someone who's been stopped by police over 40 times, in fact, I was just stopped last night on my way home to Portland, I know we need police in our society and that our communities want police. But they want police who are responsive to the people they protect and are held accountable. As I've heard Senator Lou Frederick say, we need guardians, not warriors. We need guardians who can prevent the murder of the next George Floyd, the next Breonna Taylor, the next Tyre Nichols. We as a state and a country can honor their memory by creating laws that prevent further violence and injustice against communities of color while still supporting the necessary duty of our law enforcement officials. It's our duty. Just as I have promised in my job as a nurse to protect and save life, so should we all promise to do the same in this building, on this floor, and expect the same of law enforcement officials. Because if we don't...
Excuse me, Representative. I do apologize, but your time has expired.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I cannot yield time to Representative Nelson, but I can continue his presentation and where he left off. Because if we don't, more innocent people like Tyre Nichols will be murdered. More trauma and more anger and more grief will befall communities that already carry too much on their shoulders. The work of fixing our systems is work that we must continue to strive to make progress on. I want a nation where black and brown communities shouldn't have to fear the sight of a police car. Here in this chamber, I am proud of progress and to be a member of the largest BIPOC caucus in the state legislature has ever seen. It means that the makeup of this legislative body looks more like the makeup of our state that we all love so much. At all levels, we have to make a different type of progress determining how to uphold the necessary work of police while also reining in the excessive force too often seen that leads to the assault and murder of black men. These discussions are not easy, but we must continue to have them. And I'm happy to have those discussions with each and every one of you about what we have done and what we can do to bring this change into being. I mourn for Tyre Nichols. I know that Tyre Nichols could have been me. And I thank Representative Nelson for allowing me to conclude his remarks this morning. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.